All right, ladies, let's talk about something big. No, not colonizing Mars or cracking the code to artificial intelligence, though. Trust me, I've spent plenty of sleepless nights on those. Today, I'm diving into something just as universe shaking: how to make a man obsess over you sexually. I'm Elon Musk, and if there's one thing I've learned from building rockets, cars, and neural networks, it's that nothing worth having comes easy. You don't just stumble into greatness, whether it's launching a spacecraft or igniting a spark that leaves a man unable to stop thinking about you. This isn't about tricks or games. It's about unlocking the power inside you, the kind of power that makes you a force of nature, a star in your own galaxy. Buckle up, because we're going to explore the psychology, the energy, and the sheer audacity it takes to become the woman who doesn't just turn heads, she rewires minds. Picture this: you walk into a room, and without saying a word, every eye is on you. Not because of what you're wearing or how you look, but because of the energy you radiate: confidence, mystery, a vibe that says, I'm here and I'm not apologizing for it. You felt that moment before, haven't you? Maybe it was fleeting, maybe you brushed it off, but deep down, you know you've got something inside you that's electric. And yet, how many times have you met a guy, hit it off, laughed together, felt that connection, but when it came to that primal magnetic pull, the kind that makes him crave you on a level he can't explain, it just wasn't there? He treats you like a friend, a buddy, someone nice, but not someone he's losing sleep over. You're left wondering, what's missing? Why do some women seem to effortlessly light that fire while you're stuck in the friend zone, orbiting but never landing? Here's the cold, hard truth, and I'm not here to sugarcoat it, because the universe doesn't care about your feelings, and neither does raw attraction. Sexual desire isn't sparked by being nice, accommodating, or even emotionally available. Those things are critical, don't get me wrong. They're the foundation, the launch pad, but attraction, that's the rocket fuel, and it operates on a completely different set of rules. It's not about being perfect or fitting some Hollywood mold of beauty. It's about understanding what drives a man's mind, what flips that switch from she's great to I can't stop thinking about her. And the good news, you can learn this, you can build this. Just like I didn't wake up one day knowing how to land a Falcon 9 booster, you don't wake up knowing how to command a man's deepest desires. It's a skill, a craft, a mission, and I'm here to give you the blueprint. Let's start with the biggest misconception women have about men. Society's fed you this idea that if you're kind, supportive, and emotionally open, a man will naturally fall for you, body, mind, and soul. Wrong, dead wrong. Emotional connection and sexual attraction are two different beasts, like trying to compare a Tesla battery to a Starship engine. One powers a car, the other gets you to orbit. You can be his best friend, his confidant, the person he trusts most in the world, and still not light that spark. Why? Because men's brains, mine included, are wired differently when it comes to desire. Emotional safety makes him respect you, trust you, maybe even love you. But sexual obsession, that comes from a primal, instinctual place, and it's triggered by things like confidence, unpredictability, and a kind of energy that says, I'm not here to please you, I'm here to be me. End of cry. Think about it like this: a man's brain is like a control room for a rocket launch. Emotional connection is the steady hum of the system's reliable, essential, keeps everything running. But sexual desire, that's the ignition sequence, the moment the engines roar to life. You need both, but you can't confuse one for the other. Too many women focus on being the perfect emotional partner, thinking it'll automatically lead to passion. It's like expecting a rocket to reach Mars just because the dashboard lights are working. You've got to fire up those engines, and that means tapping into the psychology of what makes a man tick. So, what's the secret sauce? It starts with you, your confidence, your energy, your ability to own who you are without apology. I've spent my life chasing audacious goals, building electric cars when everyone said it was impossible, sending rockets to space when the odds were stacked against me. And every time, the key wasn't just the tech or the math, it was belief. Belief in the mission, belief in myself. Even when the world called me crazy, you need that same kind of belief to make a man obsessed with you. Not the shaky, I hope he likes me kind of confidence, but the kind that says, I'm a force, and if you're lucky, you get to be part of my orbit. That's the energy that stops a man in his tracks. It's not about being arrogant or playing hard to get. It's about knowing your worth so deeply that it radiates from every move you make. Let's break it down. Men are drawn to women who are comfortable in their own skin, who aren't afraid to own their desires, I'm not talking about being overtly sexual or throwing yourself at him. That's like launching a rocket without a flight plan. It's about being unashamed of your femininity, your power, your ability to stir something in him just by being you. Think about the women who've left a mark on history not because they chased approval, but because they owned their space. Cleopatra didn't beg for attention, she commanded it. Ada Lovelace didn't apologize for her brilliance, she redefined computing. You don't need to be a queen or a genius to have that kind of impact. You just need to stop dimming your light to make others comfortable. Here's where it gets interesting. Men's desire is fueled by a mix of respect and mystery. Respect comes from seeing you as a complete person, someone with goals, passions, a life that doesn't revolve around him. Mystery comes from the fact that he can't quite figure you out. You're not an open book, spilling every detail the moment you meet. You're a puzzle, a challenge, a star system he wants to explore but knows he'll never fully map. When I started SpaceX, I didn't tell the world every step of my plan. I gave them just enough to be intrigued, to want to follow the journey. You need to do the same. Reveal yourself slowly. Let him wonder what's behind that confident smile, that knowing glance. That's what plants the seed of obsession. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Elon, this sounds like a lot of work. Why can't I just be myself? You are being yourself, just the most powerful, intentional version. Building a company like Tesla or Neuralink isn't about faking it. It's about amplifying what's already there, refining it, making it undeniable. The same goes for you. You've got the raw materials, your intelligence, your energy, your unique spark. The question is, are you going to let it sit dormant or are you going to turn it into a supernova? Men don't obsess over women who blend into the background. They obsess over women who shine so bright they can't look away. Let's talk about that shine for a second. It's not just about confidence, it's about how you carry yourself, how you move through the world. When I walk into a room, I'm not thinking about whether people like me. I'm thinking about the mission, whether it's sustainable energy or getting humanity to Mars. That focus gives me presence. You need that same kind of focus. When you're talking to a man, don't just think about what he thinks of you. Think about what you want, what you're bringing to the table. Are you here to have fun, to challenge him, to share a moment that neither of you will forget? That shift in mindset changes everything. It's like flipping a switch from please notice me to you're lucky to be in my orbit. And here's the kicker. Men are wired to chase what feels just out of reach, not because they're shallow or love games, but because their brains are built for pursuit. It's biology, psychology, call it what you want. It's the same instinct that drives me to keep pushing when a rocket fails or a project stalls. When you make a man feel like he's earning your attention, not just getting it for free, you tap into that instinct. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about having a life so full, so vibrant, that he has to step up to be part of it. I didn't build SpaceX by waiting for NASA's permission. I went out and made it happen. You need to do the same with your presence. Make him want to earn a place in your world. Let's get practical for a moment. How do you start? First, stop apologizing for your desires. Whether it's wanting a deep relationship, a passionate fling, or something in between, own it. I've never apologized for wanting to colonize Mars, even when people laughed. You shouldn't apologize for wanting to be desired, to be seen as more than just a friend. That starts with how you see yourself. Spend time every day, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, thinking about what makes you extraordinary. Maybe it's your wit, your courage, the way you light up when you talk about something you love. Write it down if you have to, like a mission statement for your own personal Mars colony. That's your fuel. Next, start paying attention to your energy. When you're around a man, don't shrink. Stand tall, move deliberately, let your voice carry weight. I'm not saying you need to sound like a drill sergeant, though. Honestly, that'd be kind of awesome, but speak from a place of certainty. When I pitch a new idea, whether it's a Hyperloop or a brain computer interface, I don't mumble or hedge. I say it like I mean it. You need to do the same when you're engaging with a man. Make eye contact that says, I see you and I'm not afraid to be seen. Let your presence fill the room like a rocket filling the sky with light. And don't be afraid to challenge him, not in a confrontational way, but in a way that makes him think. Men are drawn to women who spark their curiosity, who make them feel alive. Ask him questions that dig deeper than small talk. Share ideas that surprise him. When I'm brainstorming with my team at XAI, the best moments come when someone throws out an idea that makes everyone pause and go, huh, I never thought of that. Be that spark for him. Make him wonder what else you've got up your sleeve. Here's the thing, this isn't just about making a man obsess over you sexually. It's about becoming the kind of woman who commands attention in every room, every conversation, every moment. It's about building a life so bold, so unapologetic, that people, men, women, anyone can't help but be drawn to you. I didn't get to where I am by playing small or waiting for approval. I got here by dreaming bigger than anyone thought possible and then making it real. You can do the same. You're not just a woman, you're a force, a mission, a revolution in human form. And when you start living like that, trust me, the men who matter will notice. They won't just want you, they'll be obsessed because you're not just someone they can have. You're someone they can't imagine living without. So, ladies, here's your first challenge. Stop doubting your power. Right now, today, decide that you're not here to blend in. You're here to stand out, to burn bright, to make the world take notice. This isn't just about attraction, it's about rewriting the rules of what it means to be a woman in this universe. You've got the tools, the energy, the potential. The only question is, are you ready to launch? All right, ladies, we've ignited the engines. You're starting to see the power you hold, the kind of power that doesn't just get a man's attention, but makes him orbit around you like a satellite locked onto a signal from deep space. This isn't about fleeting glances or shallow charm. It's about creating a gravitational pull so strong he can't help but be drawn to you night after night, thought after thought. We're not here to play small or settle for half measures. Just like I didn't settle for a single rocket launch when I could aim for a reusable fleet, you're not here to just be noticed. You're here to be unforgettable. Let's dive into the next phase of this mission, crafting the kind of mystery, energy, and connection that makes a man's mind spin with desire. Buckle up, because we're going to push the boundaries of what you thought was possible. Let's start with a core principle. Men are wired to chase what intrigues them. It's not about being unattainable or playing games, it's about being a puzzle worth solving. Think about the universe itself. It's vast, complex, filled with mysteries we spent centuries trying to unravel. When I look at the stars, I don't just see light. I see questions, challenges, possibilities that keep me up at night. That's the kind of energy you need to bring. You want a man to look at you and think, there's more to her than I'll ever fully know, and I need to find out what it is. This isn't about hiding who you are, it's about revealing yourself in layers, like a mission to Mars that unfolds one groundbreaking discovery at a time. So, how do you create that mystery? It starts with restraint, not the kind that makes you shrink, but the kind that makes you strategic. When you meet a guy, don't lay out your entire life story in the first conversation. I didn't pitch SpaceX to investors by dumping every technical detail on the table. I gave them the vision, the big picture, just enough to make them lean in and want more. You do the same. Share a piece of yourself, a passion, a quirky story, a hint of what drives you, but leave gaps. Let him wonder about the adventures you've had, the dreams you're chasing, the thoughts behind that sly smile. Those gaps are where his imagination takes over, and trust me, a man's imagination is your greatest ally. When he's thinking about you at 2 a.m., filling in those blanks with possibilities, you're already winning. But mystery alone isn't enough. You need to pair it with energy specifically, the kind of energy that screams vitality, purpose, and life. Men aren't just attracted to a pretty face. They're drawn to women who pulse with intensity, who move through the world like they're on a mission. Think about how I approach my work. Whether it's building a gigafactory or tunneling under cities, I don't just show up, I bring everything I've got. You need to do that too. When you're with a man, be present, not distracted, not half in, but fully there, like you're launching a rocket and every second counts. Your laugh, your words, the way you tilt your head when you're listening, it all matters. That intensity makes him feel alive, like he's part of something bigger than himself. Let's talk about how to amplify that energy through your physical presence. I'm not saying you need to strut like you're on a runway, though. If that's your thing, go for it. I'm talking about owning your space the way a starship owns the sky. Stand tall, shoulders back, like you're about to address a room full of engineers on a $1 billion project. Move deliberately, not like you're rushing to catch a bus, but like every step is part of a calculated trajectory, and your eyes use them like lasers. When I'm pitching an idea, I lock eyes with the person I'm talking to, not because I'm trying to intimidate, but because I want them to feel the weight of what I'm saying. Do that with a man. Hold his gaze just a second longer than feels comfortable. Let him feel the electricity in that moment. It's not about staring him down, it's about saying, without words, I'm here and I'm not afraid to connect. Now, let's get to the heart of what makes a man obsess. Anticipation. Sexual desire isn't just about what happens in the moment, it's about what he's imagining when you're not around. This is where most women miss the mark. They focus on the present, on being agreeable or available, but they forget to plant seeds for the future. When I design a product, Whether it's a Tesla or a Neuralink chip, I'm not just thinking about what it does today, I'm thinking about how it'll shape tomorrow. You need to do the same with attraction. Drop hints, subtle ones, that make him think about you long after you're gone. Maybe it's a playful comment about an adventure you'd love to have together, like, I've always wanted to stargaze in the desert, but you'd be terrible at spotting constellations. It's light, it's fun, but it's loaded with possibility. His brain will run with it, picturing you under the stars, wondering what it'd be like to be there with you. This anticipation is your secret weapon. It's like the countdown to a rocket launch. Every second builds tension, makes the moment of ignition that much more explosive. You create that by being unpredictable, but not in a chaotic way. I'm not suggesting you ghost him or act aloof, that's amateur hour. I'm talking about keeping him guessing just enough to stay engaged. One day you're playful and teasing, the next you're deep and introspective, sharing a thought that makes him see the world differently. It's like when I tweet something cryptic about a new project, people go wild trying to figure out what's coming next. You want him to feel that same curiosity, that same need to know more. Maybe you mention a passion project you're working on, but only give him the headline, not the full story. Let him ask, let him chase, let him work to get closer to you. And here's where it gets real. You need to have a life worth chasing. I didn't build SpaceX by sitting around waiting for opportunities. I went out and created them. You need to do the same. Fill your life with things that light you up, whether it's a career you're obsessed with, a hobby that makes you lose track of time, or friends who make you laugh until your sides hurt. When a man sees that you're not just waiting for him to complete you, that you're already a whole universe unto yourself, he's going to want to be part of it. It's basic human psychology. We value what's scarce, what's hard won. If your time and attention are given freely, without him earning them, it's like handing out free tickets to a Mars launch. Make him work for it, not because you're cruel, but because you're worth it. Let's talk about conversation, because words are your thrusters. They propel you forward, set the trajectory. Most women underestimate the power of what they say and how they say it. You don't need to be a poet or a stand-up comedian, but you do need to be deliberate. When I'm explaining a concept like reusable rockets, I don't just rattle off facts. I paint a picture, make it vivid, make it stick. You can do that too. Instead of asking him boring questions like, so, what do you do? Try something that sparks his imagination. What's the one thing you'd do if you had a year to live on Mars? It's bold, it's unexpected, and it pulls him out of autopilot. Or tease him lightly, like, I bet you're the kind of guy who thinks he can charm his way out of anything, prove it. It's playful, but it's a challenge, and men love a challenge. Your voice matters too. I'm not saying you need to sound like a movie star, but pay attention to how you speak. When I'm presenting to a room, I slow down, let my words carry weight. You can do the same. Speak from your core, not your throat. Let your voice be warm, steady, like you're sharing a secret he's lucky to hear. And don't be afraid of silence. Pauses are powerful. They're like the moment before a rocket ignites, when the whole world holds its breath. Let him feel that tension. Let him lean in to hear what you'll say next. Here's a pro tip. Use your environment to amplify your presence. Um, I'm always thinking about how to leverage my surroundings, whether it's a factory floor or a launch site, to make an impact. You can do that too. If you're at a coffee shop, don't just sit there scrolling your phone. Engage with the space. Notice the art on the walls, comment on the vibe, make the moment feel alive. If you're walking together, guide the pace, choose the path like you're leading a mission. It's subtle, but it signals confidence, control, and a kind of effortless command that men find irresistible. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, vulnerability. I know it sounds counterintuitive. You're thinking, Elon, you just told me to be a force of nature. Now you want me to be vulnerable. Yes, but not the way you think. Vulnerability isn't about spilling your insecurities or bearing your soul on the first date. It's about showing glimpses of your humanity, your passion, the things that make you real. When I talk about why I want to make humanity multiplanetary, I don't just recite data. I share the dream, the fear of failure, the fire that keeps me going. That's what connects people to me. You need to do the same. Share a story that shows what drives you, what scares you, what makes you feel alive, but do it on your terms when the moment's right. That authenticity is what makes a man feel like he's getting a piece of something rare, something worth chasing. But here's the flip side. Don't give away too much too soon. I've seen companies fail because they overpromise and underdeliver. You don't want to be that. If you share everything, every fear, every hope, every detail of your life in the first week, you're burning out your fuel before the rocket's even off the ground. Pace yourself. Let him earn those deeper moments. When he feels like he's worked to get closer to you, that connection hits harder. It's like the difference between a one-off rocket launch and a reusable system that keeps delivering mission after mission. And don't forget, you're not doing this just for him. This is about you becoming the kind of woman who commands the universe. Every step you take, every moment you choose to be bold, to be mysterious, to be fully alive is making you stronger, sharper, more unstoppable. I didn't build Tesla by worrying about what the auto industry thought of me. I built it by focusing on what I knew was possible. You need to focus on what's possible for you. Imagine the woman you could be: confident, magnetic, living a life so full that men aren't just drawn to you, they're desperate to be part of your story. That's the goal. That's the mission. So here's your next step. Start experimenting. Today, tomorrow, whenever you're out in the world, try one thing that feels bold. Maybe it's holding eye contact a little longer. Maybe it's dropping a playful challenge in a conversation. Maybe it's just standing a little taller, moving a little slower, like you own every inch of the space you're in. Treat it like a prototype test. Tweak, iterate. That's how I built Starlink, one satellite at a time. That's how you'll build this version of yourself, one moment at a time. The universe is watching, ladies. Make it beg for an encore. Ladies, we're deep in the mission now, pushing the boundaries of what it means to captivate, to enthrall, to make a man's mind orbit around you like a spacecraft locked onto a distant star. This isn't about fleeting sparks or temporary attention. We're building something enduring, something that rewires how a man sees you, not just as a woman, but as a force that reshapes his reality. Just like I didn't stop at one Tesla model or a single rocket launch, you're not stopping at surface level attraction. We're going for the kind of desire that burns hot and steady, the kind that keeps him awake at night, replaying every moment he's spent with you. This is about mastering the art of connection, the science of tension, and the audacity to be unapologetically you. Let's dive into the next phase where you turn anticipation into obsession, where you make him feel like he's chasing a comet he'll never quite catch, but can't stop trying to reach. Let's kick things off with a fundamental truth. Desire thrives on tension, not resolution. Think about the most gripping moments in life: waiting for a rocket to land on a drone ship in the middle of the ocean, or the split second before a new Tesla prototype hits the road for the first time. That edge, that uncertainty, is what makes your heart race. Men are no different. They're drawn to the tension of not knowing exactly where they stand with you, the thrill of wondering what's next. This isn't about being cold or distant. Nothing kills desire faster than indifference. It's about creating a dynamic where he feels close to you, but never fully in control. Like I've learned with SpaceX, you don't win by giving away the whole playbook. You keep people guessing, leaning in, hungry for the next move. So, how do you build that tension? Start with the push and pull of attention. Men are wired to respond to contrast moments of warmth, followed by moments of distance, like the way a star pulses with light and shadow. Be engaged, be present, let him feel the heat of your focus when you're together. Laugh at his jokes, challenge his ideas, let him see the fire in your eyes when you talk about something you love, but then pull back. Not dramatically, not like you're ghosting him, that's weak. I'm talking about subtle shifts. After a great conversation, don't text him right away. Let him sit with the memory of you for a day. Let him wonder what you're doing. When I launched the first Falcon one, I didn't flood the world with updates. I let the success speak for itself, let the anticipation build. You do the same. Give him just enough to crave more, but not so much that he feels he's got you all figured out. This push-pull dynamic is like tuning a rocket's trajectory. Too much thrust and you overshoot, too little and you crash. You want to find that sweet spot where he feels connected but still challenged. For example, if you're out together, give him your full attention, make him feel like he's the only person in the room. But later, when he texts, don't jump to reply. Let him wait a few hours, not because you're playing games, but because you're busy living your life. Maybe you're working on a project that lights you up, or you're out with friends who make you laugh until your sides ache. That's not manipulation, it's reality. You're a woman with a universe of your own, and he's lucky to get a glimpse of it. Now, let's talk about the power of suggestion. Sexual obsession isn't just about what happens in the moment, it's about what lingers in his mind when you're not there. I've learned this building Neuralink. The human brain is a storytelling machine, always spinning narratives, filling in gaps. You want his brain telling stories about you. This means planting seeds, subtle, vivid ideas that take root and grow. Let's say you're talking about a trip you took to the coast. Don't just say, "It was fun," paint a picture. The waves were crashing, the air was salty, and I just stood there, feeling the ocean's power, wondering what it'd be like to share that with someone who gets it. It's not overtly sexual, but it's evocative. It invites him to imagine himself in that moment with you, to fill in the blanks with his own desires. That's how you get him thinking about you when he's alone, replaying the sound of your voice, the curve of your smile. This art of suggestion is like designing a user interface for a Tesla. Every element has to feel intuitive, effortless, but powerful. Use your words to create possibilities. Maybe you mention a dream you had, something wild and vivid, but leave out the details. I had this crazy dream last night, but I'm not sure you could handle hearing about it. It's playful, it's teasing, but it's not crude. It's like when I hint at a new SpaceX project on X, people go nuts, speculating, and that buzz keeps them hooked. You want him speculating about you, wondering what's behind that glint in your eye. And here's the key: always leave room for his imagination. Don't spell it out. The human brain loves a mystery, and his will do the work for you. Let's shift gears to physicality, not touch, not yet, but the way you inhabit your body. I've spent years thinking about how machines move, how they command space, whether it's a rocket slicing through the atmosphere or a cybertruck dominating the road. You need to think about your body the same way. It's not just a vessel, it's a signal, a statement. When you move, do it with intention. Don't fidget or shrink into yourself. Walk like you're heading to a mission control room, not like you're dodging asteroids. Keep your shoulders relaxed but strong, your steps measured but confident. It's the difference between a prototype that limps along and one that roars to life. Men notice this on a primal level. It's not about being a supermodel. It's about signaling that you're comfortable in your own skin, that you're not afraid to take up space. Your voice is part of this too. I've learned from pitching ideas to investors, the way you speak can be as powerful as what you say. Men are drawn to voices that carry depth, warmth, a hint of something untamed. You don't need to force a sultry tone that's like overclocking a processor until it fries. Just speak from your core, let your words flow naturally, but with purpose. Try slowing down just a fraction, letting each word land like a well-placed thruster burn, and don't shy away from humor or wit. When I crack a joke during a Tesla event, it's not just to lighten the mood, it's to show I'm human, approachable, but still in command. You can do that too. A well-timed quip, a playful jab, can make him feel like he's in on something special, like he's glimpsed a side of you not everyone gets to see. Now, let's talk about boundaries not as limits, but as fuel for desire. This might sound counterintuitive, but hear me out. When I design a system, whether it's Starlink or the boring company's tunnels, I don't just think about what's possible, I think about what's sustainable. You need to do the same with attraction. Setting clear boundaries isn't about pushing him away, it's about showing him what you value, what you stand for. It's like setting the parameters for a rocket's flight path. You don't waver because you know where you're going. If he suggests something you're not comfortable with, don't just go along to keep the peace. Say no, calmly, confidently, like you're declining a bad engineering proposal. That strength is magnetic. It tells him you're not desperate for his approval, that you have standards, and that makes you more desirable, not less. But boundaries aren't just about saying no, they're about saying yes on your terms. Be clear about what you want, whether it's a deep relationship, a passionate connection, or something else entirely. I've never been shy about my goals, making humanity multiplanetary, revolutionizing transport. That clarity draws people in because they know where I stand. You need to be just as clear. If you want passion, don't pretend you're fine with just friendship. If you want something casual, don't hint at forever. Honesty isn't just refreshing, it's powerful. It creates a kind of trust that's rocket fuel for desire because he knows you're not playing games, you're real, you're direct, and that's rare. Let's touch on something critical: emotional intensity. Desire isn't just physical, it's emotional, visceral, like the rush of watching a rocket clear the launch tower. You need to create moments that make his heart race, not just his hormones. This means being willing to dive into conversations that matter. Don't stick to safe topics like the weather or his job. Ask him what drives him, what scares him, what he'd risk everything for. When I talk about colonizing Mars, I'm not just sharing a plan, I'm sharing a vision that stirs people's souls. You can do that too. Share a story about a time you faced a fear or a dream you're chasing, and let him see the fire in you. That intensity is what makes you unforgettable, what makes him want to be closer to you, to feel that energy again and again. And here's where you take it to the next level. Surprise him. Not with grand gestures or over the top stunts, think smaller, smarter, like a well timed course correction in a spacecraft's trajectory. Maybe you send him a message that's just a little bolder than usual. Saw something today that made me think of you, bet you'd love it. But I'm not telling you what it is yet. It's light, it's intriguing, and it keeps you in his mind, or show up with a new side of yourself, a hobby he didn't know about, a skill you've been honing. When I unveiled the Tesla Roadster's acceleration, it wasn't just about speed, it was about showing the world something unexpected. You want to be that unexpected moment, the thing he didn't see coming but can't stop thinking about. This all comes back to one thing. You're not just trying to make him want you, you're building a version of yourself that's so vibrant, so compelling, that desire is just a byproduct. Every time I push the limits, whether it's a new battery design or a plan to link brains to computers, I'm not just chasing a goal, I'm redefining what's possible. You need to do the same. Redefine what it means to be you. Be the woman who doesn't just walk into a room, but changes its gravity. Be the woman who doesn't just talk, but creates moments that linger. Be the woman who doesn't just exist, but burns so bright she lights up the whole damn universe. Your mission today? Create one moment of tension. Maybe it's a lingering glance, a playful comment that leaves him guessing, or a bold move like suggesting an adventure he didn't expect. Treat it like a test flight, small, deliberate, but daring. You're not just building attraction, you're building a legacy, a story that he'll tell himself every time he thinks of you. The universe doesn't wait for permission to shine, and neither should you. Go make him wonder how he ever lived without you. Ladies, we're in the fourth stage of this mission, and by now, you're not just catching a man's eye, you're rewriting the physics of his world. We're not talking about fleeting glances or casual interest anymore. This is about creating a pull so undeniable, so primal, that he's not just thinking about you, he's consumed by you, like a starship locked onto a trajectory it can't escape. Just like I didn't stop at building one rocket or one electric car, you're not stopping at surface level attraction. We're going deeper into the mechanics of desire, the art of connection, and the audacity to be a woman who doesn't just inspire lust, but commands obsession. This is about turning your presence into a force that reshapes how he sees himself, how he sees the world, and how he sees you. Let's push the envelope because the universe doesn't reward those who play it safe. Let's dive into something critical, the power of your mind. Desire isn't just about bodies or words, it's about the stories you create in his head. I've spent years thinking about how to make people dream bigger, whether it's envisioning a colony on Mars or a world powered by sustainable energy. You need to do the same with a man's imagination. His mind is a canvas, and you're the artist painting possibilities he can't stop picturing. This isn't about manipulation, it's about inspiration. When I talk about Neuralink, I'm not just selling tech, I'm selling a vision of what humanity could become. You need to sell a vision of what being with you feels like, not through grand declarations, but through subtle electric moments that stick with him. How do you do that? Start by engaging his intellect. Men are drawn to women who challenge them, who make them think, who spark ideas they didn't see coming. I'm not saying you need to lecture him on quantum physics unless that's your thing, in which case, go for it. I'm talking about conversations that go beyond the mundane. Ask him something that stops him in his tracks. What's the one thing you've always wanted to do but never told anyone? Or, if you could reinvent your life from scratch, what would you build? These aren't just questions, they're portals, opening up his mind, making him feel seen in a way that's rare. When I'm brainstorming with my team at XAI, the best ideas come from questions that force us to rethink everything. You want to be that question for him, the one that makes him pause, reflect, and crave more of your insight. This intellectual spark is like the first stage of a rocket, it sets the trajectory. But desire needs more than just mental connection, it needs emotional heat. You want him to feel something when he's with you, something that lingers like the afterglow of a successful launch. This means being willing to dive into the messy human stuff, emotions, dreams, fears, but doing it with precision. Share a story that shows your passion, like the time you took, a risk that scared you senseless but paid off. Maybe it was quitting a job to chase a dream, or standing up for something you believed in when no one else did. When I talk about why I started SpaceX, I don't just list the engineering challenges, I talk about the fire in my guts, the need to make humanity multiplanetary. That's what connects with people. You need to connect with him the same way, not by oversharing, but by giving him a glimpse of what drives you, what makes you burn. Now let's talk about touch, not the heavy stuff, but the kind of touch that's like a spark in a dry forest. Physical connection is a language, and you need to speak it fluently. I'm not talking about throwing yourself at him or crossing boundaries that's like launching a rocket without checking the weather. Start small, intentional, like a perfectly calibrated thruster. Burn a light touch on his arm when you laugh at his joke, a brief brush of your hand as you pass him something. These aren't accidents, they're signals, subtle but deliberate, like the way I design every Tesla feature to feel intuitive yet powerful. The key is confidence. Don't hesitate or pull back like you're unsure. Touch like you mean it, like you're comfortable with your own body and unafraid to connect with his. And always pay attention to his response. If he leans in, smiles, reciprocates, you're on the right trajectory. If he pulls back, recalibrate, respect his signals just like you expect him to respect yours. This brings us to a crucial point: reading the room. I've learned this the hard way, running companies like Tesla and SpaceX. You can have the best plan in the world, but if you misread the situation, say launching in a storm, you're done. Men give signals just like women do, and you need to be an engineer of human connection, picking up on the cues. Does he light up when you touch his arm? Does he lean closer when you lower your voice? Does he start mirroring your energy, matching your vibe? These are green lights, signs he's locked onto your signal, but if he's stiff, distant, or unresponsive, don't force it. Pivot like I did when early Falcon launches failed. Step back, reassess, focus on building the connection in other ways. Desire can't be forced, it's cultivated, like a perfectly timed orbit. Let's talk about pacing, because timing is everything. Desire builds in the spaces between moments, not in constant contact. I've seen this with product launches: too much hype too soon, and you burn out the audience. Too little, and you lose them. You need to find the rhythm that keeps him engaged without overwhelming him. Maybe you have an incredible date, full of laughter and chemistry. Don't follow it up with a flood of texts or a rush to plan the next one. Let the moment breathe. Give him time to process, to miss you, to replay that night in his head. When I launched the Tesla Cybertruck, I didn't reveal every detail at once. I dropped hints, let the anticipation build. You do the same. Send a single well-crafted message a day or two later, something like, "Still thinking about that story you told. Didn't see that one coming." It's short, it's specific, and it keeps you in his mind without giving away the whole game. Now, let's get bold. Let's talk about sexual energy, but not in the way you might think. This isn't about being overtly seductive or crossing lines. It's about owning your sensuality as a natural part of who you are. I've always believed that the best designs, whether a car or a spaceship, feel effortless, like they were meant to be. Your sensuality should feel the same. It's in the way you laugh, full and unreserved, like you're savoring the moment. It's in the way you move, fluid and confident, like you're at home in your body. It's in the way you let a moment linger, a glance that holds just a beat too long, a smile that hints at something more. When I design a product, I think about how it makes people feel, not just how it works. You need to think about how you make him feel, not just seen, but stirred, alive, like he's touching something electric. This energy isn't about being someone you're not, it's about amplifying what's already there. You have a spark, a unique frequency that's yours alone. Maybe it's the way your eyes light up when you talk about your dreams, or the way your voice softens when you're sharing something real. Lean into that. When I'm working on a project, I don't try to be someone else. I double down on what makes me, me. You do the same. Find the parts of yourself that feel alive, vibrant, untamed, and let them shine. That's what makes a man not just notice you, but crave you, because you're not just another person, you're a phenomenon, a once in a lifetime event. Let's talk about independence, because this is where so many women lose their edge. You can't make a man obsess over you if you're orbiting around him, waiting for his approval. I didn't build SpaceX by waiting for someone to tell me it was okay. I went out and did it, failures and all. You need to have your own mission, your own trajectory. What's your Mars? Is it a career that sets your soul on fire? A creative project that keeps you up at night? A group of friends who feel like family? Whatever it is, chase it with everything you've got. When a man sees that you're not just living for him, that you have a world of your own, he's going to want to be part of it. It's like the way people are drawn to Tesla, not because we beg for their attention, but because we're building something that changes the game. This independence isn't just about having a busy schedule, it's about having a purpose. When I'm working on a new idea, whether it's a hyperloop or a brain-computer interface, I'm not just filling time, I'm driven by a vision. You need that same drive. Maybe it's learning a new skill, like coding or painting, that makes you feel alive. Maybe it's volunteering for a cause that matters to you. Whatever it is, let it define you. Let him see that you're not waiting for him to complete you. You're already a whole damn galaxy. That's what makes him want to explore you, to earn a place in your orbit. Your challenge today is to create one moment that sticks. Maybe it's a conversation that leaves him thinking, a touch that lingers in his mind, or a bold move that surprises him. Treat it like a test flight, small but deliberate. You're not just building desire, you're building a legacy, a presence that he can't shake. The universe doesn't wait for anyone, and neither should you. Go out there and make him see stars. Ladies, we've reached the final stage of this mission, and it's time to go full throttle. You're not just a spark anymore, you're a supernova, radiating energy that pulls everything into your orbit. This isn't about fleeting moments or temporary fascination. We're talking about a kind of desire that rewires a man's brain, that makes him see you as a force he can't escape, like gravity itself. Just like I didn't stop at landing one rocket or building one electric car, you're not stopping at catching his eye. You're here to create a connection so profound, so electric, that he's not just attracted, he's obsessed, driven to chase you the way I chase the stars. This final phase is about sealing that obsession, making it sustainable, and ensuring that you're not just a fleeting thought, but a permanent fixture in his universe. Let's light this thing up and make it unforgettable. The core of this phase is authenticity, not the watered down version you hear in self help books, but the kind that's raw, unfiltered, and fearless. I've built companies like SpaceX and Neuralink by being relentlessly true to my vision, even when the world called me nuts. You need to be just as relentless in being true to yourself. Men don't obsess over women who mold themselves to fit someone else's blueprint. They obsess over women who are unapologetically real, who wear their passions, quirks, and desires like a badge of honor. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being you, flaws and all, with the kind of confidence that says, this is who I am, and I'm damn proud of it. That's the kind of energy that sticks, that haunts him, that makes him think about you when he's driving, working, or staring at the ceiling at midnight. So, how do you embody that authenticity? Start by owning your desires, yes, all of them. I've never shied away from wanting big things, whether it's colonizing Mars or linking brains to computers. You shouldn't shy away from what you want, whether it's a passionate romance, a deep connection, or something wild and free. Too many women dim their desires to seem acceptable or ladylike. That's like designing a rocket and then refusing to launch it because it might make too much noise. If you want passion, say it. If you want adventure, demand it. Not in a pushy way, but in a way that's clear, direct, like you're stating a universal law. When I told the world I wanted to make humanity multiplanetary, people laughed until they saw the rockets fly. When you own your desires, men don't just notice, they respect you, and that respect is the foundation of obsession. This authenticity extends to how you handle rejection. Let's be real, not every man is going to get it. Some will miss the signal, like investors who passed on Tesla in the early days. That's not failure, that's data. When I had rocket launches crash, I didn't quit. I analyzed, adjusted, and launched again. If a man doesn't respond to your energy, don't take it as a verdict on your worth. Move on, refine your approach, and keep shining. The right ones, the ones worth your time, will see your light and chase it. And here's the thing, men are drawn to women who can handle rejection with grace, who don't crumble or chase approval. It's like watching a rocket recover from a near miss and still nail the landing. That resilience is sexy as hell. Let's talk about escalation, not just physical, but emotional and intellectual. Desire isn't static, it's a trajectory, and you need to guide it carefully. By now, you've built tension, planted seeds, and shown him glimpses of your fire. Now it's time to deepen the connection, to take him from intrigued to invested. This means creating moments that feel intimate, not because you're spilling your life story, but because you're sharing something real. Maybe it's a quiet moment where you admit a fear you've never told anyone, like, I'm terrified of failing at something I love, but I keep going anyway. Or maybe it's a bold move, like inviting him to join you on an adventure, say a spontaneous hike to watch the sunrise. When I invited my team to dream up Starlink, I wasn't just asking for ideas, I was inviting them into a vision. You're doing the same, inviting him into your world, but only if he's ready to step up. Physical escalation is part of this, but it's not the whole game. Touch is powerful, but it's not about rushing to intimacy. Think of it like tuning a Tesla's acceleration, smooth, precise, exhilarating. If you've already mastered the light, casual touches we talked about, now it's time to be a little bolder, but always with intention. Maybe it's letting your hand linger on his shoulder a second longer, or standing close enough that he can feel the warmth of your presence. Always watch his signals. Does he lean in? Does he mirror you? Does he seem alive in the moment? If so, you're on the right path. If not, ease back, like a pilot adjusting course mid-flight. The goal isn't to push boundaries, but to create a dance where you're both moving together, building anticipation with every step. This dance requires emotional intelligence, and that's where you can really shine. I've learned running companies that reading people, knowing when to push, when to pause, is as critical as any technical skill. You need to read him, not just his words, but his energy. Does he light up when you challenge him? Does he get quiet when you share something deep? These are your data points, your telemetry. Use them to calibrate your approach. If he's responding to your playful side, lean into that. If he's drawn to your intensity, give him more of it. But always stay true to yourself. Don't morph into what you think he wants. That's like redesigning a rocket to please one investor. Build for the mission, not the audience. Let's talk about longevity, because obsession isn't a one and done deal. Just like I'm not content with one successful launch, you shouldn't be content with one spark of desire. To keep him obsessed, you need to keep evolving. Stagnation kills attraction faster than anything else. I've seen it in business companies that rest on their laurels get left behind. You need to keep growing, not just for him, but for you. Take up a new challenge, whether it's learning a skill, traveling somewhere new, or diving deeper into a passion. When I started digging tunnels with the Boring Company, people thought I was crazy until they saw the potential. Show him your potential. Let him see you pushing your limits, becoming more of the woman you're meant to be. That growth is magnetic. It makes him want to keep up, to be part of your journey. And here's the big one: don't let comfort kill desire. In long term relationships, it's easy to slip into routine, to become predictable. Predictability is the enemy of obsession. I'm always shaking things up, new projects, new goals, new ways to challenge the status quo. You need to do the same. Surprise them with a new side of yourself. Maybe it's a bold opinion you haven't shared, or a spontaneous plan to try something neither of you has done before, like a midnight drive to nowhere just to talk under the stars. These moments break the monotony, remind him that you're not a known quantity, you're a universe still unfolding. Let's get practical. How do you keep that spark alive day to day? It's in the small things, the details that add up like the thousands of components in a rocket. Send him a message that's just a little daring, like, had a thought about you today, too wild to share here. It's not explicit, but it's enough to make his mind race. Or show up with a new energy. Maybe you're feeling playful one day, introspective the next. Keep him guessing, not because you're hiding, but because you're complex, multifaceted, like a star system with endless layers to explore, and always, always have your own life. I can't stress this enough. When I'm working on a project, I'm not waiting for someone to validate me. I'm too busy building. You need to be too busy building your own empire, whether it's your career, your passions, or your dreams. Finally, let's talk about respect, not just his for you, but yours for him. Desire doesn't exist in a vacuum, it thrives on mutual admiration. Just like I respect the engineers who push the limits with me, you need to respect the man you're with, not as a conquest, but as a partner in this dance. Notice what makes him unique, what drives him, what makes him light up. Call it out, not in a pandering way, but in a way that shows you see him. When I acknowledge a team member's breakthrough, it's not flattery, it's recognition of their fire. Do that for him. Say, I love how you get so intense about that project. It's rare to see someone care that much. That kind of respect fuels desire because it makes him feel like he's part of something bigger, something worth chasing. Your mission now is to take one bold step toward authenticity. Today, do something that feels true to you, whether it's speaking your mind, trying something new, or showing a side of yourself you've kept hidden. Treat it like a launch, high stakes, high reward. You're not just building attraction, you're building a legacy as a woman who doesn't just inspire desire, she inspires awe. The universe is yours to conquer, ladies. Go make him see you as the star he'll spend his life chasing.